Good evening, and thank you for joining us for another exciting edition of the Ready to Run show, brought to you by Yaga Africa, the Not Too Young to Run movement, in partnership with Channels Television and supported by the European Union. Last week on the show, we brought you stories of young aspirants and how they fared during the party primaries, as well as those who emerged victorious in the 2019 elections. Well, I hope that the documentary was educative and it inspired you to take action against political exclusion, money politics, and undemocratic practices in our political parties. If you missed the show, please catch up with the show on our website at www.readytorunng.org, www.readytorunng.org, and then on our social media platforms at readytorunng. We kick off tonight's show with a special tribute to those who made it possible to have young people run for office in the 2019 elections. Last week, we talked about the Not Too Young to Run movement. This week, we are celebrating the legislators in the 8th Assembly who made it possible. And first is the National Assembly, where they voted for the passage of the Not Too Young to Run bill. If the Senate and the House didn't vote yes to the bill, we wouldn't have been here talking about the number of young people who are under 35s who ran for office and they won. We'd also like to celebrate the 33 state houses of assembly who voted yes for Not Too Young to Run. 33 states voted yes. 3 either they didn't vote in the entire constitutional review or they just abstained. Kano, Zamfara, and Lagos states. These were the 3 states. And if you recall, the Not Too Young to Run inaugurated them into the Hall of Shame. But for these 33 states, which you have on your screen, Not Too Young to Run inaugurated them into the Hall of Fame. So they are inaugurated into the Hall of Fame. And we'd like to celebrate the 8th Assembly who have written their names in gold for actually passing the Not Too Young to Run bill. In a couple of days, we will be celebrating 20 years of democracy. Remember, Nigeria returned to democracy in 1999. And so on May 29th this year, we will be celebrating 20 years in democracy. It took us 20 years just to amend our constitution to reduce the age for running for office. And so we celebrate them, and it's quite historic. And it's because of that, we have a very special guest who we're featuring today on the show. And later on the show, you'll meet him. There's something special about him. But he's one of the beneficiaries of the Not Too Young to Run bill that was passed into law. Also, would also like to show you the elected young people who have actually won. Last week, we talked about the data. This week, we will be showcasing where are they, the states where these young elected representatives are for the State House of Assemblies and then for the House of Representatives. We begin with the House of Representatives, and you can see that on your screen. For the House of Representatives, there are 12 young people who are between the ages of 18 and 35 who emerge victorious, and they come from the states, as you can see on the map on your screen. So 12 young elected representatives will be sitting in the Green Chamber as from June, when the 9th Assembly will be inaugurated. The sad part of this story is that out of the 12, there is no woman who was elected, and there are just 12 men. Also, we will be bringing you what the data, or the map actually shows for the State House of Assemblies. And for State House of Assemblies, you can also see that going to be displayed on your screen. We've got 19 young elected representatives who are between 25 and 30 years. They also emerged victorious in their elections, and the map clearly shows you the states and their names and the political party that they actually come from. So that is what the map looks like, and those are the states. I don't know if your state is actually one of those states that presented youth candidates or have young candidates who've actually won. But we do hope that these young legislators will succeed during their term of office. We all have a responsibility, and as a movement, we will continue to support the emergence of young leaders, and for those who have emerged, we will continue to support them so they can succeed. But as you know, democratic participation or participation in the electoral process does not begin and end with voting at elections. Actually, the job of governance actually starts now. So as a voter who voted, or even if you didn't vote, the job and the business of governance begins right after elections. Therefore, you must ensure that you hold your elected leaders accountable. You've got a responsibility to do that. And it's in furtherance of that that we're proud to be hosting one of the youth candidates who was elected to serve as a legislator in the Benue State House of Assembly to represent Conshisha State constituency. It's with great pleasure that I welcome 27-year-old Kefas Diako Aswa, who is our guest today. And he ran under one of the parties, the Africa Democratic Congress, and he was reported to have pulled the highest votes of 11,064 to defeat other challengers to win the keenly contested elections. I call him the David who defeated many Goliaths. And you're welcome to the show, Kefas.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so how did you do it?
I just started. Wanted to do something, and I just started. The idea was to bridge that gap, that trust issue between leaders and electorates.
Are you trustworthy yourself?
I feel so.
Why do you think so?
Issues of integrity are always forwarded anytime you indicate interest in something, or you want to become something. I've not heard that, and there was never a time in the course of my electioneering that cases of such were mentioned.
Okay.
So I believe to a large extent that I'm trustworthy.
Okay.
Yes, I believe so.
Great.
And so, like I said, I wanted an opportunity to change the status quo. The act of leaders coming around after some years in office, telling people why they cannot or could not deliver in their promises, why they were seeking office. And I feel that it's all about making realistic promises that are achievable. You don't just come out telling people that you want to do something.
So let's talk about those promises. What promises did you make to the people, and they voted you into office?
I told them, like one of them, I told them I was going to be particularly interested in empowering the youth and women. I told them how I was going to do it, or how I'm going to do it. I didn't just tell them that I was going to empower you and ended there. No, I told them how I was going to do it, or how I'm going to do it, and I feel they've seen that it is achievable. And it was a clear message.
Was that all you told them?
A whole lot of.
No, so let's dig deep, because you made campaign promises for the benefit of those who are out there. Would like to know. Yes, you talked about empowerment. I've gone through your agenda, and I see you've got about 3-point agenda. You talked about quality legislation. You talked about infrastructure and development. You talked about community empowerment of women and youth. How are you going to do this now that it appears that you're going to be in the State House of Assembly?
You see, I'll first of all touch on the item of youth empowerment. Yeah. There is something we've put together as a team. It's called the Thai Gas. Thai Gas.
So Thai is T-A-I?
Yes.
Okay.
Thai is just a short name, a short form of my name, Tavishima. And the gas simply stands for get a skill. Get a skill. I understand that not everybody will have the opportunity of going to school, and I cannot, as a person or a legislator, sponsor everyone around in school. But I know that it is easier to train and empower people in various endeavors, including agriculture, trade, and other crafts. Particularly in agriculture, we'll be doing livestock and crop farming.
But I'm curious to know, though, is that supposed to be your responsibility as a legislator?
I understand that my primary responsibility as a legislator is to sponsor bills, make laws that are going to ensure maybe stable and prosperous Benue, yes. But I understand also that the many challenges of our a constituency or a country cannot be left to the executive. I understand that the responsibility of giving jobs and all of that show that's on the executive. That's very true. But the task is too heckling to be left to that arm of government. Now, I cannot be fair to myself and my people, just being in the assembly, making laws, and then allowing every other thing to be show that on the responsibility, or be show that on the executive.
On the executive.
So it's going to be a complementary hand to the executive, outside my basic responsibility of lawmaking.
So let's go back. So tell us what happened on election day, and what was the result, what was the margin that you actually used. But more importantly, you are 27-year-old. Are you 27? Is that your football age, or that's your actual age?
No, that's my actual age.
So that's your actual age?
Not just official age, my actual age.
So your actual age is you're 27?
Yes.
All right, great. So what really happened on election day? And tell us, how did you also funded your campaign?
Okay, I'll start with the funding of the campaign.
Yes.
And like I told you, I started with virtually nothing. The desire was there. I saw things going wrong, and I wanted to try to change, to seek an opportunity to do something different. Now, I started with a few friends, very close friends, and we started with what we had, little mornings. We raised from agriculture. We've been in agriculture as a team for about 3-4 years now. And the little we had was what we started with. And we started consulting the professional politicians, and they never gave us a chance, but we persisted, we continued. And by the time we were able to reach the electorate, we saw that the acceptance was beginning to be better, because the message was clear. Like I earlier said, we told them what we wanted to do for them and how we're going to do it, or how we're going to do it. Now, because you know that they don't stand to gain so much from the electioneering thing. What they want, all the people want, is good governance.
So you promised them good governance?
What democracy is going to bring to them, and that was what we promised them.
Do you think your age contributed to your success at the election?
Honestly, it did.
There was a natural sympathy. So what was the age of the other candidates you were running against? Okay,
like the incumbent that ran under the platform of the People's Democratic Party is around 62, 63.
Okay, so the incumbent was from PDP, was 62?
Yes, and the APC candidate was around 52, yes.
Those are supposed to be your grandfathers and your fathers, if possible. Yeah, because I'm sure some of them may have kids as old as you are.
They do. And the APC candidate happens to be my in-law, kind of. Yes, my dad. Okay. You know, my dad is a polygamist. Okay. My dad is married to the younger sister.
Okay.
So she's more of a mom. She takes care of me.
So you were the David that defeated 2 Goliaths.
Yes, I don't like talking about that. It makes it look like I actually...
No, but that's quite interesting. But do you have a godfather?
No, I don't have a godfather.
I know you have a relationship with one of the former members of the House of Representatives who seem to have won his election as well. And stories actually have it that he is your godfather. Is that true?
I don't know about godfatherism. I don't know so much about that. What I have is a mentor, and it's not just him.
Okay.
If you're referring to Right Honorable Herman Hembe,
okay,
he's a mentor. I have others too that I run to for advice and other forms of support. So I can say he's a godfather.
One of the questions I want to ask you is what you will do within the first 100 days after you're inaugurated in June. But for the benefit of the other young people who actually ran for office and they lost, what would be your message to them? what experiences do you have that they can actually learn from? Because you ran and you won.
Yes. I've always said that you need to start something with the mindset that it's going to be all right. Whatever happens, you're going to be fine. And when that
really
mindset,
difficult considering politics in Nigeria.
It is. But like I said, it's all about your mindset. When you condition your mind to be all right, no matter what, it saves you the many troubles that come afterwards.
What else?
Well, there should be something to always fall back to. I understand that many of them started with nothing, just the way I started. Now, it may feel for me that I have something to fall back to. There's going to be a salary or something. Yes, I know they wouldn't have that benefit, but I was prepared to go back to the farm if I didn't win.
Yeah, but so in terms of the tactics you use for your campaigns, are there lessons that for people who ran and lost they can learn? Did you buy votes? Because I need to ask you that question.
I never had the money to buy votes. I depended on the goodwill of my people and the message I had. For me, it was selling the message to the people and just waiting for their decision on the day of election.
So you didn't rig?
I did not.
So it was free, fair, and credible?
To a very large extent, it was. I want to, in a very special way, thank the election empire, that's INEC, and the central government. I want to especially thank President Muhammadu Buhari to have left the electioneering process and all of that to the people. As much as I know, I'm talking about where I come from and all that happened around there.
So in your place, it was peaceful.
It was to a very large extent. It was.
In some other parts of Benue State, there are several reports. In fact, it was in Benue State where we saw thugs actually overpowered security agencies and they burnt election materials and there was violence. In fact, it was in Makurdi where in the supplementary election, or in one of the elections, in the governorship election, where unknown gunmen actually shot one of the coalition officers on her way to Makurdi. Yeah, so very, very important. Well, if you're just joining us, this is Ready to Run show. Tonight we're featuring one of the youngest candidates who participated in this election, a beneficiary of the Not Too Young to Run. He's 27-year-old Honorable Kefas, who has won his election to represent Konshisha State constituency in the Benue State House of Assembly. You can be a part of this show on our social media platforms using the hashtag Ready to Run. Our Twitter handle is Ready to Run NG, and on Facebook is also Ready to Run NG. So you can be a part of this show. Send us your comments and your questions. We're engaging Honorable Kefas. Let me ask you, what will the first 100 days be like when you are inaugurated into the State House of Assembly?
So I'm expecting a lot, and I know that the expectations are so high, but I'm going to be committed to the plan I have. Like I said, I have a team of young people across disciplines. We're going to sit after inauguration and decide what our priorities are. Now, where we're going to start and what we're going to start with. But I believe that by the exhaustion of 90 days, we must have had one or two projects on ground.
No, we would like to know what those one or two projects. We also like to know what will be the priority legislations you're going to sponsor, because it's not enough to talk about these very good, fantastic campaign promises in generic terms, but because your constituents will be very, very interested in knowing what you'll do in specific terms. Well, when we come back from this short break, we will continue this conversation. Please don't touch that. Welcome back from that very short break. That's the Convergence 2.0 coming your way on the May 7th and 8th in the city of Abuja. We're convening about 300 young elected representatives from the State House of Assemblies and the Federal House of Representatives right here in the city of Abuja. And we will be talking about leadership, politics, and power. Beyond celebrating their success It's also time to begin to talk about what the future would look like for governance in the places where they will be representing in the different chambers across the 36 states, as well as the federal, at the federal level. Well, this is Ready to Run, a show brought to you by IGA Africa Not Too Young to Run movement and Channels Television, supported by the European Union. We've been joined by Honorable Kefas, who is 27 years. He's very, very special because he's a beneficiary of the Not Too Young to Run legislation. You wouldn't have been running if that bill was not passed into law. What did it actually feel like when it was passed?
We're anxious. Seriously, I was, and I know that I know a number of young people that didn't meet the age limit, that already started. We were already in the race, expecting
it was going,
it was going to be passed, and we can only say thank you everybody that pushed the bill through.
Yeah, we're also very, very excited. So back to the conversation we're talking about, in terms of what will be the first 3 priority bills you're going to sponsor in the State House of Assembly, in line with the campaign promises that you made?
Well, I want to first talk about that's legislation.
Yes.
First, I have there's always these cases of land disputes around my constituency.
Land disputes.
Land disputes between neighboring communities, and particularly my ward. We've been battered by that ugly incident several times. That I really want to explore every necessary
legislative mechanism that is in place,
trying to curb that, and I hope to sponsor a bill in that respect, and see how far we're going to go, trying to resolve that that permanently. I know it's going to be full of technicalities and tedious work, but I think I'm ready to.
Well, now that you actually brought the issue of the land dispute, how do you think that the farmer herders crisis can be resolved? Because it's one perennial issue that has come from Benue State.
You see, Benue has a law on that. There's already legislation.
Is it the anti-grazing bill?
Yes.
Okay.
Anti-open grazing.
Anti-open grazing.
Yes, and the ranch establishment
bill.
Bill. Yeah, I think what is left is the execution of that law, and I think the assembly or the what's it called?
The executive or the assembly?
No, I believe that the assembly have done its part.
Their bit.
Yes, their bit.
It's now left for the
It's now left for the executive to do their part. But I know that all of us have a responsibility to that too, and we can't leave everything to just the government. Now there's always a bit we can do. I believe that we'll try to avoid those clashes as much as we can.
So when you get to the State House of Assembly, do you have any plans of aspiring to leadership in the State House of Assembly? Because you are a first-timer.
Yeah.
You are 27. Perhaps you'll be the youngest legislator in the Benue State House of Assembly.
Yes, I am.
So you'll be the youngest. So,
I'll
do you have any plans of aspiring for any leadership or any committee position in the State House of Assembly?
Yeah, very well, very much. I have big thoughts for something big. You know that going to the assembly is one thing, and being relevant there is another. And I think I've already started pushing for the speakership. And I believe that I'm capable.
The speakership of Benue State House of Assembly?
Yes.
Isn't that a tall order?
It is.
Why do you think why are you going in for the speakership of the State House of Assembly?
You see, there's something we respect back home. The zoning arrangement and all of that. The zoning favors me very well. And I think there's nothing extraordinary about the speakership that I cannot do. I can handle that very well.
To be the speaker
I am.
Of the Benue State?
If I wasn't, I wouldn't be here.
What experience do you have to become the Speaker of the State House of Assembly?
What experience do I need to become a speaker?
No, because I'm asking you, because people who are out there and the legislators, first they will be considering what experience, because you're the youngest. They will ask in terms of the experience, what leadership experience do you have, what experience on legislative practice and procedure. These are some questions that people ask you. Do you think that you're fully prepared for that?
I am. The same way I never had experience but ran and won. I think there is nothing extraordinary.
You don't think they are very different?
And they are not.
You're sure?
I am very sure.
Because the State House of Assembly operates like an electoral college, unlike your elections where you have so many supporters and voters who are just voting from different polling stations.
The assembly is just a room for people and representatives of the different constituencies to bring their many inputs, and now the responsibility of the speaker is just to oversee all of that.
I was going to ask you. Yeah.
So it's just to oversee all of that.
Is it just to oversee?
I'll get into that. It's just to oversee and manage the assembly. No, it's going to be any place without leadership is going to be rowdy and without control. Now, the responsibility of the speaker is to manage the assembly, and of course, other responsibilities.
You think you're prepared and qualified to serve as the Speaker of your State House of Assembly?
I am.
You can manage the assembly very well.
Very well.
You've got the leadership competence to do so?
I do.
You do?
I do.
Well, we wish...
People have seen something in me, and I don't think I'm going to hold back.
And as Speaker, what will you do? What would you do? Give me 3 things that you will do. 3 things.
I don't. Can we skip that?
Well, okay.
Can we skip that?
If you want to,
I really don't want to talk about it.
But maybe I know it's part of your political strategy not to unveil what you're actually going to do, because you want you don't want your opponents and those who are actually...
You know, we're already in the race.
Because you're already in the race.
Yes.
Well, we wish you well with that aspiration.
Thank you.
And we hope that you will represent your people effectively. And just to ask, what will you do about constituency engagement? Will you have, how many constituency offices will you have? Because in your campaign agenda, you said you have 4.
4, yes.
So these 4, where will they be located? Because people who are watching will want to know where these constituency offices will be so they can engage with you. And tell us, how are you going to make the constituency offices very functional? Do you know how much you're going to earn as a legislator?
I don't want to talk about the monies and all of that, because we did so much with that money. So I don't see money as the hindering factor. Yeah. All I see is a group.
As at today, the 2023 election is just 1,411 days away, because the countdown has begun. It's not too late to start, or too early to start. Please make yourself popular, like our guest actually said on the show today, that make yourself popular within your constituents, implement projects, volunteer, demonstrate leadership at your constituency level, so when it is time for you to run, the people will see a leader in you, and they repose confidence in you by actually casting their votes for you at elections. This is where I would say do have a fabulous week. My name is Samson Itodo. Until I come your way next week. Thank you.